The Arizona podcast is brought to you by Giant Protective Coatings, a flooring company that specializes in epoxy flooring and concrete resurfacing systems. They speak Spanish, they're in the LA area, and they are an amazing company to work with. They have awesome customer service and they give you honest quotes with great work, and I couldn't recommend them enough. So if you use the promo code ArrowsUp, you get a 15% off on your next project. So call them, reach out to them. You can find them at on the internet, triumphcoatingsca.com, and you can request a free quote and all that fun stuff. You can follow them on Instagram, triumph_coatings, and they do speak Spanish and they do great work, like I said. So check them out. Promo code ArrowsUp, 15% off your next project. Late Monday night pod coming up. Basketball, and it's Florentino's fault coming up on the Arsenal podcast. So that's what I have for you. And as basketball's in full swing, the NBA playoffs are up and running. There's been 3 days now. Some really good games, some not so good games. We get into it. So hope you enjoy it. NBA playoffs with some Real Madrid thoughts that I have as the season is coming to an end, and they're only going to win possibly two of three. But whenever you don't win the Champions League and you're Real Madrid, it's a big deal. So we get into it. So here's the pod. Here we go. NBA playoffs started on Saturday with a full day, but before we start on Saturday, we'll go through all that stuff. I have some Real Madrid thoughts because Real Madrid is judged by two things: whether they win La Liga and whether they win the Champions League. And one of the things that's becoming super difficult to understand, to accept, I think especially as a Real Madrid fan, is this idea that it's really hard to win the Champions League. And you're not supposed to win it. You're not supposed to win it every year. And maybe you have the aspirations to do it, and it's one of those things that you set yourself up to win it every year, but everyone knows you're not going to. It's not possible. It's not realistic. It's not something that you look at and say, yeah, we have to win it every year. You want to win it every year. You want to put yourself in a position where you possibly could win it every year, but there's this great understanding, or at least there should be, that you're not always gonna win it, and because you're not always gonna win it, it's really hard to make this standard to be that. And Real Madrid, for example, since the 2013 season, so we're going back like 12 years. In the last 12 years, Real Madrid has won it. So they went through the stretch from 14 to 18. Those 5 years, they won it 4 times, 4 and 5, and that was unheard of. 3 straight, and it was like, man, that is impressive. And in total, it's been 6. It's been 6 since 2013, which is an unbelievable feat. They've won as many as most teams have total. Bayern has 6 total. Liverpool has 6 total. And Real Madrid won that in the last 12 years. Barcelona has 5. And Real Madrid, so we get it. It is this extremely difficult thing to win. It's this tournament that's constantly getting tougher, and it's constantly what all these big clubs aim to get. Man City, for a long time, were chasing greatness, and they were trying to become one of the biggest clubs in the world. And they were winning everything domestically, and everyone's like, yeah, but they get to Europe and they suck. And then they won the Champions League 2 years ago, and everyone's like, okay, Man City's officially a big club. It's what PSG is going through right now, where PSG has won everything there is to win domestically, but we still don't look at them as an elite, big, giant club because they have yet to win the Champions League. It's why Bayern Munich gets so much respect, because they might play in Germany and they have won all the domestic stuff, but they've also won the Champions League in recent memory. And so Real Madrid is judged by the Champions League, and especially some of the craziest results that have came about in the Champions League for Real Madrid has caused everyone to just assume they're just going to win it every year. And this season with this team, Mbappe comes and it was this hype train of this team is going to do it and they're going to just continue to roll. And they did it. Arsenal beat them, and all the retractors for Real Madrid were extremely happy, and that's just what's going to come with it. And now they're calling for Ancelotti to lose his job and all that. And as I was looking at it, and it might be time. It might just be time for him to leave. His voice might have just gotten stale. But we need to understand that if he gets fired or let go, it shouldn't be because he didn't win the Champions League. It shouldn't be because he didn't win La Liga. It shouldn't be that. And if we want to blame, if we want to cut up a blame pie for somebody, and blame who needs, assign blame to whoever for what's happened with Real Madrid this season, we have to start with Florentino, not Ancelotti. We have to start with Florentino, because when we think of this Real Madrid team, and you can get lost with Vinny and Mbappe and Jude and Rodrigo and Casemiro and Casemiro and Valverde, fine. But we have to understand that he hasn't had the roster, which I know it sounds insane to say. But take Jude Bellingham for example. Jude Bellingham last year started off the year scoring goals all over the place. Every single game he was scoring a goal to start his career. He went like 8 straight games of just scoring goals. And it was one of those he wasn't brought in to be a goal scorer, but if he's going to score at this rate, man, this is going to be incredible. We all saw the flashes of, man, is he the English Zidane? Is that what we're getting from Jude? And a lot of what allowed Jude Bellingham to be the offensive monster that he was a year ago was that he was able to play more up. And he was able to do that because the defense for Real Madrid was more stable than it is this year. This year, Jude Bellingham has had to play more defense and has had to cover more ground. And as he has had to cover more ground, especially for Mbappe and Vinny, who refuse to play down and refuse to come down, it's limited Bellingham's biggest threat, which is to be a false 9. That's where Jude Bellingham shines, where he's able to be the false 9, and he's able to go and play the role of midfielder, but also just be an incredible threat offensively. And this year, because Mbappe and Vinny aren't playing down, because Alaba has been injured for most of the year, because Militao has been injured for most of the year, it's been a team that's been defensively challenged. Most of the season, Danny Carvajal has been out. And so what allowed Jude to be just a nightmare matchup for everyone last year has been completely taken away because he's had to cover up defensively for the rest of the roster. And it's why he's not as involved in offense. It's why he plays back so much. It's why on the actions he's not as involved. And if you're not watching the games and if you're not paying attention to what he's doing, you think like, man, Jude sucks this year. He's falling off. And on the contrary, he's been incredible. He's just had to play a different role for this team. Valverde the same. Valverde has played anywhere and everywhere Ancelotti has asked him to. And so when we think of the problem with this team, the problem with this team is Mbappe has been a dream of Florentino forever. And Mbappe is an amazing player, one of the best players in the world. And the problem with bringing in a guy like Mbappe, when you bring him, is that you still have a guy like Vinny, you still have a guy like Rodrigo, who they all play the same position. Now, you can move one of them, as they have, and Rodrigo has had to adapt to a new position on the right. But Kylian Mbappe is best when he's in left wing. The problem with that is that so is Vinny. And so when you bring in Mbappe, you have to make a decision, and you almost have to get rid of one. You have to get rid of either Vinny or Rodrigo, and you have to force one of them to play right. And they kept all three, which is fine. If you can make it work, okay, fine. But Kylian Mbappe is clearly not comfortable being the number 9. And if he can't be the number 9, you need to have a number 9. You can't just let Joselu walk out. You got to keep him. Then you have you keep guys like Guler, and you don't give him a chance, and you get him, and he gets frustrated, and he starts pouting and saying the right things, but also getting super frustrated. You get the same thing with Endrick, who these two guys, every time they come into a game, all they want to do is come out on highlight reels because they think that's the only way they're going to get on this team. And that's the wrong message to send, because a lot of times they'll make plays that are not winning plays. They'll make plays that are good for them, plays where they look good, but that doesn't always result in winning games. And that is a result, again, of not bringing in the correct guys, not giving Ancelotti the right roster to compete, not getting him a forward, not getting him proper midfielders that are going to be able to give Valverde and Camavinga and Tchouaméni the time to recover, to rest, and to be fresh. You have Modric, who's he's 39 at this level. He can give you 45 really good minutes, and that's about it. You have Ceballos, who's being just wasted on the bench. And I think a lot of it is because the front guys are on the roster. If you remove a Vinny, if you remove a Rodrigo, you're able to build a team that makes a little more sense. But when you look around and you think, well, I can't, if I take out Mbappe, if I take out Vinny, if I take out Rodrigo, one of them's going to get upset. So then Ceballos can't play when you need Ceballos. Brahim Diaz can't play as much. And Brahim Diaz with Mbappe would be incredible. But you can't have that. Brahim Diaz with Jude would be incredible. But you can't really play that matchup as much as you would want to. And so Florentino is the best president in sports, at least in soccer. And he's failed Jude. He's failed Real Madrid this season. Not wanting to bring in players, not wanting to invest, not wanting to get go in the transfer window and bring in a defender, a center fielder, a center back, not a center fielder, center back, and a real number 9, and bringing balance to a Real Madrid team that can be very dynamic, that can be very scary when everything is clicking, but a team that's not balanced. And so what you get is results like the Arsenal game, where Vinny was nowhere to be found, where Jude was lost a lot of the time because he was playing defense, where Rodrigo was almost non-existent, where you have Vinny and Mbappe running the same routes to nowhere and with no fruit because they're both trying to do the same thing from the same side of the field. And so Ancelotti probably doesn't come back, but we should understand, we should know that it wasn't his fault. And I sound like Doc Rivers now. It wasn't Blake's fault, but it wasn't Ancelotti. So if we're going to blame somebody, we got to start with Florentino. And that's where I start with that. It sucks in basketball. We started the game. We'll start with today's games. We had, in today's games, two game twos. Pistons at New York, where it was one of those games where just much like game 2, where Detroit looked like the better team for a large chunk of that game, where they didn't look scared. They were every bit ready for everything and anything that New York was throwing at them. And then they melted in the fourth quarter. And the Knicks win a game that the Pistons should have won. But first time being there, the bright lights, Madison Square Garden, and the Knicks take it. In game 2 of this game, we had much of the same. You had the New York Knicks who couldn't stay in front of the Pistons, who couldn't, you had Schroeder, who was not afraid at all of the moment. And it was interesting to see that as the fourth quarter came, and and again, it was like the script was going to happen all over again, where the Knicks were going to win because the Pistons were going to crumble. And in the end, you had Dennis Schroeder, one of the vets on that team, hit big shot to big shot and carry the Pistons to the finish line. And Cade was really good today. He balled out. In the fourth quarter, he kind of just had he wasn't running to the ball. Not that he was afraid of the moment. Not that he wasn't running. Not that he was running away from the ball, but he also wasn't running to the ball. But again, first time in the playoffs, get it. I understand. But it was an impressive win for the Pistons, who now take this back home 1-1 in a game, in a series where they probably are looking back and are probably thinking, dang, we probably should be up to 0 right now. Like, we should probably have this series in a chokehold, and instead it's 1-1. Clippers Nuggets 1-1. This is the best series in the entire first round. It sucks that this is the first round matchup. It sucks that one of these teams is going to have to go home. I hope they go 7, just because these games have been so amazing. And the Clippers outlast the Nuggets today. Kawhi was incredible. I think heading into the fourth quarter, Kawhi had only missed a shot. And he plays 39 minutes again today. 39 points. Norman Powell was timely buckets towards the end of the game. Harden wasn't as involved, but a lot of it was because Kawhi was so incredible. And he just carried and big shot after big shot. Chris Dunn was just a pest defensively for the Clippers today. And it is a reminder of why people are bullish on the Clippers. And why this idea that, man, if Kawhi's healthy, the Clippers can make the finals. And it's because of stuff like this. And Kawhi plays 39 minutes today. In game 1 on Sunday, on Saturday, he plays, he plays 41 minutes on Saturday in a game where the Clippers should have won, really. And so, this is the healthiest he's been in, since maybe the championship run with Toronto. This is the best he's looked since like San Antonio. He has he has the hop in his step. He has all the athleticism, or a lot of it, back. He hit some shots today that you're just like, oh my God, like what was that? And he's the reason why they won this game today. On the other side, Denver. Look, if you're just gonna read the box score, and you're just gonna look at Jokic and be like, oh man, Jokic 26, 10, and 12. And yeah, counting stats, Jokic looked good today. He also had 7 turnovers. 7 very costly turnovers. He had a shot when the shot clock was like at 10, off an offensive rebound where he shot it, and it was like, what was that? He had a few passes in the fourth quarter where it was just so unlike him to make those kind of mistakes. Did he suck? No, but to his standard, some of the mistakes he made were mistakes that you just don't expect Jokic to make. And it was uncharacteristic of him to do that. And again, if you're just going to look at his counting stats, you can say, well, you're crazy. He had a triple-double. And fine, if we're just going to look at box scores, then yeah, I mean, triple-double, cool. But if we're going to actually watch the game, so we're going to pay attention to the flow of the game and what's going on in and out of just every possession, then yeah, he wasn't his typical self. He wasn't as incredible as the stats say he was, because he had very costly turnovers that cost his team. He missed very huge free throws that probably would have given Denver the win. And so it's 1-1, and it's fair. It's a fair 1-1. If you're a Clipper fan, you're probably thinking, no, it's not fair. It should be 2-0. We should be up 2-0. And I really don't have an argument for you. Because you're probably right. You probably should be up 2-0. As this series comes to LA, it's one of those things that I think this goes 7, just because I think these teams are so evenly matched. Now, the Clippers do have this going for them. They do have more confidence in more of their guys than the Nuggets do. For as bad as Michael Porter Jr. was in Game 1, he was good in Game 2. He did leave with some shoulder discomfort, and hopefully that's not that serious. But as this series goes to LA, the Clippers are in great position because Chris Dunn will play better at home. They're just going to shoot better. It's just the rules of the playoffs. The others, or the complementary guys, shoot a lot better at home. And so someone like Bogdan Bogdanovic will have a moment in this series. And it might be in 3 and 4. Or 3 or 4. It might be in both. I don't know. And so just watch out for him, because he's going to have a moment. Batum's going to have a moment. Derrick Jones Jr. is going to have a moment. And this is where and this is going to sound crazy, but I almost feel like this was a must win for Denver. Because coming back to Los Angeles, I would be less shocked if we come out of this with the Clippers taking the next two. I left game one thinking the Clippers left one on the table. They're gonna have to beat this team 5 times, and I don't know if they can. And after today, I'm like, man, I think they could. I think they could, because if this is the Kawhi we're getting, and mind you, before game 3, some crazy news can come out, and Kawhi might not go today, and this all falls apart. But I can also see a scenario where he's just amazing, and it's like, yeah, he's good now. He's healthy, and come Thursday and Saturday, we get a very different Kawhi, and we get a very different matchup, and we get a very different result in this series. And so Denver, I don't want to sound the alarms and say that they're in trouble, but they very well could be. They could be in trouble. But I hope we get 7 of these. Let's talk Bucks Pacers. Bucks Pacers, best team or better team versus player. Giannis needs Dame to win the series. I don't think they will win it, even if Dame is there. But if the Bucks are gonna have any chance of beating the Pacers, it's gonna be because Dame plays, and he might play game 2 tomorrow. But the Bucks, they just don't have enough. They just don't have enough firepower against a Pacers team that's really good offensively, and they're not afraid of the Bucks. They're not afraid to play Milwaukee. They're not intimidated by anything that Milwaukee does or anything that Milwaukee throws at them. And so as we go into game 2, I just don't know. It's one of those things where Giannis could have like 50, and you'll still be like, yeah, I think they'll still lose. He had 36 points and 12 rebounds on Saturday, and he was incredible. And they still got destroyed. Maybe Kyle Kuzma doesn't do the Tony Snell special. Maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he actually, adds some stats to his stat sheet. Maybe that helps a little bit. But the Bucks don't have enough to play against the Pacers and beat them. Just my opinion. Grizzlies Thunder. Do we need another game of this? The Grizzlies suck. And it's weird because they have talented guys on the roster. They suck in comparison to the Thunder. And that is just a testament to how great the Thunder are and how awesome that team is, and how just maniacs they are defensively. They completely destroyed the Memphis Grizzlies on Saturday. Or Sunday, I should say. Yesterday. And I just don't know what changes. Now, maybe the Thunder don't win by a ridiculous amount. Maybe they don't take a 50-point lead at any point in the rest of the series. But I also just don't know what Memphis is going to do to keep the Thunder from not overwhelming them completely. And so I just don't think this is a series that should be aired. They should play this game and kind of like blackout. Like, we'll tell you what happens. We'll show you the score after. This is going to be the TNT game tomorrow. And it's like, no, this should be the NBA TV game. Pacers Bucks should be the first TNT game. This should be the NBA TV game. Because this is just not, it's not even fun to watch. It's not even going to be fun to watch this game. But yeah, it's sweep can come soon enough. in that one. Lakers Timberwolves. Game 2 tomorrow. The Timberwolves had like 40 open threes. Naz Reid went crazy. And if you're Minnesota, good for you. You had Jaden McDaniels going nuts in game 1. Good for you. This is the argument for the Lakers. You had a bunch of open threes, right? That's what you had. You had a bunch of open threes, and you had Jaden McDaniels who went crazy, and Naz Reid who went crazy. That's not gonna happen again. They combined for 48 points. That's not happening again. If you look at the rest of the team, the rest of the team was not that great. Everybody else was pretty pedestrian. And you got your one good game from Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid together. And do it again. If you can do it again, go for it. I don't think the Lakers are going to give up that many open threes in game 2. Just my expert opinion. I think JJ Redick's going to be like, hey guys, how about we close out? Huh? When we do that? I think they're going to have to start blitzing Anthony Edwards off of the screens and mixing up the coverages a little bit. Just make them think. Don't just play it straight up. Don't just switch everything like that. LeBron looked old and slow, and Reeves sucked. And so for the Lakers side, you say, well, Reeves isn't going to suck again, and neither is LeBron. Luka was good, and our defense doesn't have to be like the best in the world. They just can't be what it was on Saturday. And if it's better than what it was on Saturday, I think the series gets tied. So, and everybody wants to throw dirt on the Lakers, and everybody wants to like, oh man, Minnesota. And look, I said Lakers in 6, so I by no means am saying Minnesota sucks, but we also have to pump the brakes and look at what actually happened in the game. Minnesota had 40 open threes. Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid went nuts, and that was it. That was the story of the game. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow, but we do have, I think it's very easy to explain away what happened in game 1, and very easy to be like, yeah, let's not overreact to what happened. Magic Celtics, not a lot of thoughts here. The Celtics are way better, and the Magic don't have enough scoring. This might end in 5. Heat Cavaliers, the same thing. Cavs are really good. The Heat are not that great. This probably ends really early. Warriors Rockets. The Warriors. Curry was hitting some ridiculous shots on Sunday. And the Rockets, they're fun, athletic, really good defensively. They just have horrible offensive stretches for long periods of time where it just gets ugly. And you're just hoping Fred VanVleet's hitting shots and Jalen Green is hitting shots. Sad state of affairs. It's almost like, man, you guys should trade for like Devin Booker or Kevin Durant or something. And that would help you guys a lot. On the other side, the Warriors have Steph Curry, who just loves to play in Houston and just hitting ridiculous shots in the fourth quarter. In the second half, he wasn't that good in the first half, but he turned it on in that second half, and the Warriors took care of business. Jimmy Butler, who's people like him because he's playoff Jimmy and all that. And I'm whatever about Jimmy Butler. And a lot of it is because he is just a part-time player. Is he a really good playoff performer? Yes. But is he, for me, in the top 20 basketball players? No. Because he's a part-timer. He ignores game 181 to 82. He ignores those 82 games, and because he ignores those 82 games and doesn't take them seriously, I don't take him seriously as the top guy. Because for all the crap and all the heat that someone like Jason Tatum takes, and Jason Tatum, and I said this earlier in the season, he is very corny, and that's why people don't like him. So when there's a conversation of who's the face of the NBA, nobody's going to want to say Tatum because he's a corny guy and he's just not likable. But someone like Jason Tatum, to me, is far more valuable than than Jimmy Butler. Because Jason Tatum plays day in and day out. Jason Tatum gives a crap about basketball and competing all the time. And so when you think of where the Warriors are, for example, when you think of where the Heat were the last 3 years, just scraping to get into the playoffs, and a lot of it was because Jimmy didn't take the regular season serious. Jimmy Butler didn't try really hard in the regular season. And so the play-in tournament would come and the Heat would find themselves in it. It's like, well, we just got to get in. And once we get in, playoff Jimmy. And you know what's better than than playing in the playing game? Not playing in it. And knowing that, you know what, we worked really hard for 82 games to not be in the play-in so that we can just get in. You know what was really awesome as a Laker fan this year? Not having to see the Lakers play in the playing game and knowing, you know what, we're in it. Yeah, we don't got to, win here and then, oh, man, hopefully we win over there. No, we're in, man. And so Jimmy Butler was really good because Jimmy Butler is a really good playoff performer. And that's as much of the flowers I'm going to give Jimmy Butler. But if we're going to just then, this whole idea that we need to oh my God, Jimmy Butler, this apology thing that people want people like me to do, Kodo, I'm not doing it. Not doing it because he's a part-time performer and shows up in April. But the Rockets don't have enough offense. Their offense is too ugly. They're going to rely too much on Şengün to score enough to the point where you're going to force the Warriors to double. It's not going to work. Although I do think they should drive more. I think they should just attack the basket all the time and just force the Warriors to do something. Foul, do something. I think that's the key for them. They got to drive. They got to do something. They got to just attack and attack and attack and pick up the pace, because at the pace that they were playing on Sunday, just not going to cut it. Now you're not going to play as fast as the Warriors. You're not going to play at that pace as the Warriors, but you can't play at the pace that they were at. Just can't do it. Not possible. You're not going to win. And that's it. Those are the playoff matchups. That's where we're at. So it's been a fun. It's fun to have the playoffs. The playoffs are the best. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at the NBA playoffs. And we had I think we're gonna have a very interesting run, especially in the second round, especially in the West. But I can't wait for the East to get better. I do think the Knicks may be in trouble if the Pistons are just super confident and comfortable at home. So it's something to watch out for. And there's also series where, you know, you don't even have to watch. Like Grizzlies Thunder, you don't even have to pay attention that the Thunder are going to win. And it's going to be a cakewalk. Heat Cavs, you don't even have to watch it. A minute of that. Just look at the box score and Cleveland's going to win that in 5 or something. And Celtics Magic, you don't even have to watch that either. The rest of them are pretty intriguing, can be pretty good. And so that's what's cool with the playoffs. So that's it. That's what I have for you. Final thought. I have a final thought for you. So one of the things that I was seeing as I was watching, as I've been watching the NBA playoffs, I think everyone should adopt the YouTube model, like multiple screens, have the ability, the technology to give us multiple games at the same time. so you can have them side by side. YouTube TV does that perfectly and does that better than anybody. They probably do it better. They just do it, and that's what we want. Can you just give us that? Just this very basic technology. Just let me just watch 2 games at the same time. Let me just have them on like tomorrow, when the Pacers and Bucks are playing half an hour before Grizzlies Thunder, and I just want to have both of them on my TV. Can you just, Spectrum? Can you just let me do that, please? And so stuff like that. I think stuff like that needs to be shared, or like I'm pretty sure the people at Spectrum can figure something like that out. I don't think, Google's filled with smart people, but I can't imagine just having 2 screens up is like rocket science level of like intelligence, where Spectrum's like, oh man, we don't know how to do that. So that's my final thought. Let's advance the technology. Let's look at around. It's a copycat world out there in sports and technology. Innovation is you copy everybody. They do it. All right, cool. We can do it too. So everybody else, just follow in line. Just look at YouTube TV and say, wow, you can watch 2 games at the same time, 4 games. We'll add it too. Done. That's my final thought. I'll talk to you Wednesday. Enjoy the playoffs. All right, that's the pod. Thank you to Tramp. Thank you to Angel. Thank you to you for listening. You can follow and listen to this podcast anywhere you get your pods. So please rate, review, and subscribe. I'll be back on Wednesday with Christian Worldview Wednesday, and I'll probably sprinkle some NBA stuff on that one based on what happens tomorrow in the Laker game. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's it. So let's do the roll call. The Red Sox had a Patriot Day today, and they beat the White Sox, who just have been the Achilles heel of this Red Sox team. And we don't get to play the White Sox anymore, so that's great. Bring on the Mariners and their good pitching staff. So go Sox. Hopefully we're able to just climb up the standings going forward, now that we have to play the mighty White Sox. Real Madrid, big win versus Athletic Club. In a game where a golazo by Valverde won that one. Mbappe comes back, and Real Madrid's all in. All the chips are put in the middle to win La Liga. Can we catch Barcelona? I don't know. It's going to be tough. But we're going to need help, and we're going to have to just win. And that's going to be win as much, and hopefully somebody shocks and upsets Barcelona. That's all we can hope for. Real Madrid, glory, Man United. Lose to the Wolves, but good news mathematically, we can't be relegated. Ruben Amorim said we're just going to play the young guys. That's what we're going to do. And we're just going to focus on winning the Europa League, and hopefully we do that. And yeah, man. So we chugging along. Hopefully that's what takes place, and hopefully we're able to win to win that tournament. And finally, Viva la Máquina, because we've been playing a lot better. We're first place to end the half, so love that. So shout out to them. And finally, lastly, game 2 tomorrow. Very hopeful. Let's go Lakers. Protective Coatings, a flooring company that specializes in epoxy flooring and concrete resurfacing systems. They speak Spanish. They're in the LA area, and they are an amazing company to work with. They have awesome customer service, and they give you honest quotes with great work and I couldn't recommend them enough. So if you use the promo code Arrows Up, you get a 15% off on your next project. So call them, reach out to them. You can find them on the internet, triumphcoatingsca.com, and you can request a free quote and all that fun stuff. You can follow them on Instagram, triumph_coatings, and they do speak Spanish and they do great work, like I said. So check them out. Promo code Arrows Up, 15% off your next project.